Good evening, Year 9 and parents as well. First of all, we'll start with an apology. We're obviously incredibly sorry that this can't take place in person. It's an evening that we at the Romsey School look forward to permanently, and we hope that this evening works well for you in absence of meeting in person. The key message that I want to start off with is a couple of different factors, but they are things that I would expect of our whole year group on a daily basis anyway. So things about expectations, things about attitude towards their learning, and ultimately about responsibility. So if we begin with just some reflection over the last couple of weeks, the way that the vast majority of our pupils in our year group have approached their online learning is actually incredibly supportive towards what we're about to see in the next couple of years. Ultimately, the step between a Key Stage 3 pupil and a Key Stage 4 pupil are those pupils that can go on and actually ask those further questions, but also take control of their independent learning. One key jump that we see between Key Stage 3 and Key Stage 4 is, can that pupil go away in their own time after school directed hours and actually continue their learning in order to kick on and achieve. And the way that the year group as a whole are demonstrating their attitude towards their online learning during this remote live teaching lockdown has been incredibly impressive. Following on from that, I want the discussions to be taking place at home that are centred around those expectations of every one of our pupils demanding the absolute best of themselves. So when you get that option form and when you're selecting what you want to study for the next couple of years, make sure that you are being fair with yourself, but make sure you are really pressing on as best as you possibly can. I want you to make sure that you are picking those options that you know are going to test you, but ultimately you know are going to serve you best in the future. So when you're selecting of all the incredible subjects that we have on offer at the Romsey School, I want you to select for two different reasons. One, based on future decisions. So potentially you've got a career path that you're already thinking about, and potentially there might be subjects that are more appropriate to that. But two, based on enjoyment. Because I always say to any Year 9 people that I speak to, those 3 and sometimes 4 hours a week of that subject, if you didn't want to pick it, that can seem like a very, very long period of time. And that's a long 2 years to be sat there in that classroom. And ultimately, you could argue it's also unfair on that teacher. As a teacher of Key Stage 4, we want pupils in our classroom that are fascinated by our subjects, that are so involved in their learning that they are desperate to know more. And actually that's what that option process gives you. It gives you the ability to think about what subjects do you want to learn about in more detail, rather than what you're seeing at Key Stage 3, which is a more generalised term. So what I want you to make sure you're picking subjects, yes, on career aspirations, but also on this idea of how much am I going to enjoy that subject? Is that something I want to look forward to on my timetable? The last point is, this is a really big decision that you guys will be making, supported by parents and carers as well, and ultimately not one to be rushed. You have options evening, you have parents evening, and you have key assessments throughout this half term to guide you through your decision. So when you're thinking about, should I pick this subject or should I pick another one, the best people to be asking are potentially older siblings or potentially older friends that you have that you're aware of that have been through those subjects, but also your subject teachers. Have those conversations with those subject teachers saying, oh, what is it like following on from the options evening videos that you're going to see later on? Because what you don't want to do is make assumptions. You want to make decisions that are based on fact, decisions that are well-rounded, and not decisions that are rushed. So Mr. Marks is going to talk through in great detail about the options process and how the form will work. But ultimately, Year 9, it's going to be you guys that are the ones that are taking control of this by making decisions that are yours for the next couple of years. So as a summary, what do I want you to be focusing on? making sure that you are prepared to invest time and effort in these subjects that you're going to pick, that you don't make decisions for subjects based on friendship groups or little to no knowledge, and in fact you make them based on either career aspirations or enjoyment levels, that you have high expectations of yourselves, and actually you will demand the best of yourselves from every single one of these subjects that you are approaching in Key Stage 4, and that you ask those questions. If you're at all unsure, your tutor team are there to support you. Obviously myself, Miss Moran are here as well, along with Mr. Marks, but mainly those subject teachers to field those more specific subject knowledge questions. Thank you very much.